Okay, first things first. Yes, I am wearing sunglasses inside, but I have a very good reason for this. I went to the eye doctor today and they dilated my eyes, and it's the most I can do to be able to stare at a computer screen or even read something. I try to hold my phone in front of my face and I can't even read it right now, so I'm just waiting for my eyes to recover. But I had to make this video before that happened because I don't know how many hours it's going to take. Also, wearing sunglasses around, kind of makes me feel like another Togashi character with Toguro, because he would just literally wear sunglasses all the time. Also went to the gym today, got my pump on, trying to build these Toguro gains. I had a long way to go. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is, some information came out today about Yoshihiro Togashi, the creator of HunterXHunter and Yu Yu Hakusho. And it is really, really disheartening and sad news in a way. Also, to make sure that this video is not clickbaity, I want to say that if we are taking all of this information to be correct, what Togashi released today is not the ending of HunterXHunter. It is a potential ending that he does not want to use. It's fourth in line of a bunch of different endings and ideas that he has, but it's one that he is releasing, or at least explaining to the audience, to say, hey, if I don't make it, if I die before the end of HunterXHunter, then you can take this as its ending. So this is kind of like worst case scenario. This is the ending. And you can definitely tell that by the way it's written, because it's very just basic. Like, it's a very just basic standard story ending. We'll get into it here in a second. But if anyone's kind of like presenting the information of like, this is the definitive end of HunterXHunter, that's not the case, at least according to what has been translated that I've read. Apparently this all comes from an interview that is coming out tomorrow in Japan, which by the time zones, it'll probably be just a few hours from the time I'm recording this video. So this is what's come out, and he shared a potential ending that you can consider the official one if he doesn't get a chance to complete it. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, just very, very quickly, Togashi has been dealing with debilitating back pain for many, many years now. It has been the leading contributor as to why there is so many hiatuses when it comes to HunterXHunter and why the story has not been completed thus far. It is so bad that I don't want to step out of line or say the incorrect thing here, but I think he might technically be disabled at this point because of it. In a different interview he released last year, he talked about how he couldn't even go to the bathroom correctly. Like, he had to have help. He had to take a shower, every single time that he went, that he couldn't sit in a traditional way in order to draw. He had to create like a makeshift way for him to lay down and draw at the same time. So this is serious stuff, and he seems determined to want to complete his story and to continue working on HunterXHunter after about a 4-5 year or 4 year, I think, hiatus. He returned with 10 new chapters at the end of last year, but now it has been almost an entire year since there's been another chapter. So we're at another year-long hiatus with no information so far as to when the next chapter will be released or what he's going to do with it. So we know that he wants to complete it, but we don't really know the status of it. So maybe more information will come out. Who knows? By the time I finish uploading this video, we might have more. So let's get into what is actually available here. Now, we could say the information that was released today is probably all true. Since the interview itself is not technically out yet, you could still say this is a rumor. And it's not like 100% fact, but I would say that there's enough sources that are running with this right now that if it turns out not to be true, I mean, a lot of people are going to be wrong. A lot of people are going to be discredited. We have the Shonen Jump News Twitter page here, and even they say it's still unconfirmed, but it's an interview. It looks like this talk show here, and there's actually a link to that. So this is the actual link, and it's translated, so it might look a little weird. So he's going to actually be interviewed on the show, and it says it here. So you could say that that's pretty much confirmed. There's other websites that are running with it. You got Dexter Toe there and Screen Rant. I wouldn't really trust them with much, but they're running with it too. So a lot of sources are running with this right now. So I'm going to take it to be factual until I see something else. So just take it with a grain of salt at the end of the day, but I'm going to take it to be fact for right now. So basically what happened was we have this translation here by this Twitter page. Thank you very much for Manga Alerts for translating it here. And I'm going to kind of run down it with you guys and just kind of discuss what actually was released here. So again, this is Togashi saying that if I don't make it, like if I pass away before HunterXHunter is over, you can consider this the ending, which is really, really sad that he even has to say this, that he's even talking about this or considering this. Like, I mean, being a huge fan of Berserk, I know what it's like to go through the experience of wanting to follow a story to the end, and then somebody that you look up to that's writing it, passes away. before they're able to complete it. So it's not something that is impossible to happen. But I also really admire and appreciate the will, drive, and determination of him wanting to complete his own story, because he could just very easily give it up now. And I don't think I don't think many people would be upset with him. I think we would all understand. You know, he has nothing left to prove. He's already created two of the best shonen series of all time, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of other people as well. So I don't think he has anything left to really prove. And as other people noted, you know, he could try to just write the story and then give it to somebody else to draw, but he's determined to do it himself. And I don't think this is really ego. I don't think it's so much as any arrogance. I think it's just that, you know, Hunter x Hunter is his baby. It's his story. It's his art. And as an artist, he wants to be able to finish it himself. And I completely respect that. And I understand that. Like, it's more about how much it means to him, right? And if he's just determined to do it all himself, I mean, I think that that's admirable in a way. I mean, you could say it's pushing himself too far, and maybe it is, but I definitely find some respect in somebody just saying, this is my story, and I'm going to work on it till the bitter end. I'm going to go as far as I possibly can with this. Dude, just, I have nothing to say. Just absolute respect. Just absolute nothing but respect for that. All right, so I'm going to read this to you guys to the best of my ability with my broken eyes right now, and try to just tell you my 2 cents on it. So the first thing he says here, and this is the important part, is that he has 3 different endings that he's considering right now, and he's ranking them ending A, ending B, and ending C in order of how he thinks that they're going to be accepted by people. So he says he has 3 ending scenarios when considering the proportional reaction from the readers, ranging from satisfaction to dissatisfaction. The ending is deemed satisfactory at 50% and unsatisfactory by 20%. This does not necessarily imply a high rating, but for me, reaching it will be secure in a way that doesn't complicate matters with excessive criticism. He's saying, as far as the fan reaction goes, that ending A would be the most satisfactory. He said at least probably 50% of people will probably be okay with this ending. I also think it's funny that he's thinking in his head about like percentages of the audience that would enjoy it. It kind of just reminds me of a character in Hunter x Hunter trying to determine like how to win a fight with Nen. Like there's a 50% chance that this might work, but a 20% chance. I don't know. It just, the way that it's being translated makes me feel like this is legitimately real, because it just feels like the way that a Hunter x Hunter character would act within the manga. But anyways, when it comes to ending B, he says opinions will be divided similarly. So he has ending A and ending B that he thinks that if he was able to end it in one of those 2 ways, then at least half the fan base should be fine with it. He thinks that they'll accept the ending. So that's where he's at with those. The interesting thing here is potential ending C, where he says, I anticipate a satisfaction rate of 10%. So he has an ending that is going to be very, very controversial on the back burner, which just makes me excited. You know what I mean? Like, I just like, what is that? Like, what are you going to do that 90% of people will not like it? That just makes me excited. I don't know. And he says, why do I keep that one present even with a high rate of dissatisfaction? Because it's my personal preference, but fundamentally, I want to think of the utmost extent about the ending to a point where I might not choose any of these 3 entries and create what I find the most enjoyable. That is my ideal and goal. So essentially what he's saying is that ending A and B, at least 50% will be happy. Ending C is the one that he prefers the most himself, but he knows is going to upset a lot of people, which I'm assuming is going to mean like the death of a lot of characters and maybe some unfulfilled plot points and things like that, which would make sense for a story like Hunter x Hunter, I think. But he also says, I want to be free to have more ideas and more potential outcomes for the ending as well, where he says that he wants to create, he might not choose any of these, and he wants to create what he finds to be the most enjoyable. So there might be another ending that he comes up with. So what I get out of all of this is that he is thinking of ways to finish the story, where he's going to direct it. I don't know how long in his head that he's had ideas about the ending, but it seems like right now that is what he's driving towards, and that might be what he's trying to come up with before he continues to finish the chapters that he's working on right now. Because if you guys are following the storyline, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Like, we have the succession war, which is just huge, and it's just filled to the brim with dozens and dozens of characters with different motivations and ideals and mysteries, and there's so much stuff happening with the succession war. And then we also have the Dark Continent stuff, and then maybe at some point getting back to Gon. And it just seems like there is just so much story to tell. I don't know. That's what makes it seem daunting to me. It's just that there's so much story that I feel like needs to be told before there could possibly be any kind of satisfying ending. And if his condition is this poor, I just don't. And, you know, we get 10 chapters every 4 years. I just don't know how it's going to happen, man. But it just makes me really upset to see that he's even at a place where he's like, I'm just going to share an ending with you guys in case worst case scenario happens. And, you know, I wonder about the guy's like mental health and stuff, like how he's doing with this, if this is what he wants to share, or maybe he's sharing this just because, you know, he has made that decision where he's just like, I'm just going to work until the end. I'm going to work as hard as I can to try to finish it. And that's just what he wants to do. And if that's what he wants to do with his life, you know, more power to him. Next to the lake, a girl named Jin, holding a fishing rod, stands motionless. Suddenly, the rod shakes violently, and Jin, startled, exclaims, I got him. I got the Lake Lord. She skillfully lifts the Lake Lord onto her shoulders, stands before a woman, saying, as promised, I caught the Lake Lord, Mom. Jin approaches the woman and passionately declares, you must not tell me again. You must become a hunter. The woman, with no tricks left, nods her head. Jin, still carrying the Lake Lord on her shoulder, walks away. The mother comments to her husband that Jin's dream is to never leave the island and inherit their place. The father agrees, laughing, and the mother expresses her dissatisfaction, saying perhaps her desires will change later, but I want to know, you and Jin, why are you like this? Surely it's because of the blood of the Grandma Mito and Grandma Noko. So he's definitely calling back to the very beginning of Hunter x Hunter, where Gon is fishing and he, you know, grabs the Lake Lord at the time. I think it was called the Lake Lord back then too. And it's kind of what is the catalyst for him being able to go and try to get his hunter's license. Here it seems like the opposite scenario is happening, where this girl's mom is trying to get her to go and become a hunter. But instead she says that she wants to stay on the island and inherit their business and inherit what they're doing. So it's the exact opposite scenario of what Gon wanted to do. He also says this would also be the granddaughter of Gon. So we have a different generation going. So Gon apparently hooks up with Noko, and Noko is actually a character, but she's only seen in like the very first episode. Yeah, she's this character. She's the only other she was the only other child on Whale Island besides Gon, which is that brings to mind like a whole bunch of other questions, but let's just get back to this. The woman, expressing her unwillingness as a mother, adds, but Grandpa Gon was a famous hunter, and this girl will one day leave the island. Jin says she will never leave. Although she is no longer visible in the heart of the forest, she hears her parents' conversation and responds defiantly. The father, amused, says, you have a sharp eye. The scene changes to the shop continuing its work from Mito's days. The Lake Lord has been cleanly cut and its internal parts sorted. Jin thinks to herself while working that Mom never understands when Grandpa speaks joyfully about his memories of being a hunter. Grandma Noko quietly moves away from her seat. Every time Grandpa Gon affirms, her belief is heard from someone. She strikes the cutting board forcefully with a knife. I'm tired of this. I wait for someone's return after months and years of sadness. It crushes my heart. I make someone wait for me. Then the door opens and a warm voice echoes. A chubby little child enters holding a plant. The child exclaims, I caught the Lord for real. Let's honor the whole island with it. Always wanted to be with the person that I want to be with. Together and always, the child agrees. Yes, both of them, with broad smiles on their faces, cook the food. A bird flies away from the island, over a town, puts a scarf on Mikasa. No, I'm just kidding. The son of one of them, the daughter of another, and the grandchild of another live in different places, exchanging smiles. They might be the children of that character and the grandchild of that character. The bird flies away into the distance. and in the background, a figure watches the scene. So I assume the figure at the end is meant to be Gon, and we are dealing with the offspring or the next generation of our main characters. I don't know if the chubby kid that comes in is supposed to be Killua's son or anything, you know, I don't know. I'm wondering what like the overall intent and message of this ending is, though, because it's really interesting to me if Gon eventually does become very similar to Jean in the sense that he's never around. However, he does seem to come back periodically because she talks about how Gon would talk about his adventures and Noko would be a little bit upset by it because, you know, he would be leaving them, you know, potentially for long periods of time in order to kind of like go and travel the world or do the things that he needs to do as a hunter. Also, if Gon has become a famous hunter, does that mean that he has other adventures to kind of go on after the ones that we've seen him in? Because when we last left Gon in the manga, he couldn't use his Nen. He was back on the island. So, you know, what does that mean for the future if that was to happen? So, I don't really know. I'm not really sure what it's meant to say at the end of the day because it seems like Jin does not want to adventure, does not want to become a hunter. So, what does that mean? Or does it mean that it's just kind of like her childhood naivety and eventually she will want those things? And we all kind of do those things. We all kind of have to walk away for a while from the things that we know, the things that we're comfortable with, to kind of discover the world, find ourselves, figure out what we want, and then we eventually kind of return. Everything comes full circle, and then the next generation is born. Is that just life? Just, you know, translated in a way into a shonen manga? I don't know. I would say that this ending is extremely simple and generic, and probably why it's not the one that he's choosing to go with, unless he absolutely has to. So I think he's giving it to us now because it's not something that he wants to work towards in the manga, but he's just saying that if I don't get to create the scenario A, B, and C that I have in my head, then you can use this as an ending. So it's just kind of, I think it's him just having empathy for the fans because he understands how long we have to wait. He understands that we might not get an ending. So I think, you know, all things considered, this is just to give us something. Like, if you just need something, if you just need an ending, like, try to use this as your template, you know? But at the end of the day, it's not meant to be the true Hunter x Hunter ending. It's just something that he's given us as the fans so that we have something to say as the end in case he doesn't make it to the end. And that just brings us full circle again with Togashi's condition and what he's dealing with. And just my heart goes out to him and anybody that he's, you know, that's helping him through this situation. I know that he has a wife who is the creator of Sailor Moon, which is crazy and awesome. So hopefully she's helping him out. I'm sure he's got family that helps him out and doctors and everything. But God, that's such a mess. And I can imagine that being just incredibly mentally taxing on you as well. I just hope at the end of the day, he's doing it for himself and he's not feeling like he has to complete Hunter x Hunter for us. I hope he's doing it because it is something that he's passionate about and really, really wants to work towards. And like I said, I have utmost respect for somebody that just is that diehard passionate about their own art and really wants to see it through to the end. You know, it's like his life's mission. It's like his life's work. It's like, this is something I care about. And it's like, I'm not going to give up. And it's that kind of attitude that might not even be the best for him, but it's that kind of attitude I admire, you know. I hope that I can strive for something similar in life, to just never give up, always continue, see it through to the end. Even if I don't make it, I know that I did everything I could to try to make it. So, Togashi, my brother, I love you. You'll never watch this YouTube channel, but if you do, I love you. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this. What do you think about him releasing this at all? What do you think about him saying, hey, there's a chance that I might not make it to the end to complete it, but here's an ending? And what do you think about the ending that he did release? Remember, keep in mind, this is not the official ending of Hunter x Hunter. It's just something to give us in case. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you enjoyed this video, you know, like, comment, all that kind of stuff. If you want to support the channel, Patreon, channel membership, all that stuff is linked down below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.